This episode is brought to you by the fabulous members of the You Run Podcast Network, all available at yourunpodcast.com.
Hey there, we heard tale of a party.
You did?
You and Mando's coming in now, would you? We hungry as dogs.
Woof, woof.
You want to die tonight?
The dad jokes he tells sets the scene. I hang on every word lost in the screen. The passion for fear is contagious enough. You make me believe in Mark's overblown roundups. You run podcasts or a movie review, unveiling facts and playing games too. Your words paint pictures of darkness and dread, leaving me grinning long after I fled.
I let that go way longer than I should have done. Hello and welcome to the You Run Podcast Horror Movie Review, the show where you call the shots every single week. My name is Scott.
My name is Mark. You know what? I need to change my catchphrase because I got a package the other day from Jim, and it turns out I'm now known from saying "and my name is," because at the top of the address where he like sent the package to, he's like "and my name is," and then he wrote my name and the address underneath. I was like, for fuck's sake! I didn't even realize it was a thing.
Do you know the best bit is he sent me a photograph of that about 4 days before he posted it, going, "I'm the funniest man alive," and I just replied, "Yes, you are."
He literally is. I was in hysterics when it came through because my wife sent me a photo and she's like, "What the fuck is this?" I was like, "Yeah, you clearly don't listen to my show."
Yeah, she did, which, to be fair, some of the things we've spoken about your wife and Lisa, it's probably best they don't listen to the show.
This is very true. So yeah, so I might have to start working on something new to introduce myself with on the show going forward. We'll see.
Well, I could go with my name is Scott, and you go with and I am the Bald Avenger Mark. I don't know, whatever you want.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah, we're your hosts every single week as we take you through another movie that you picked in our Instagram polls. We release episodes every single Monday, 52 weeks a year on all podcast platforms and YouTube, covering the absolute best and the absolute worst this genre has to offer. Each episode will give you a brief synopsis, followed by a deeper look at the film. It's very spoiler heavy. If you haven't seen the film, we will fuck it up for you. We're also very opinionated, so if something's really popular and we don't like it, we don't just go with the flow, we push back against it. Later on in the show, we'll be sharing movie facts. We'll have some interactive features. We have a game this week. It's a game called Old as a Vampire. We round off each episode with our final thoughts and our all-important scores, because that's the reason you're here, to hear what we think and what we score the movie. This week is a slight change in our schedule. As advertised last week, Poltergeist with Jim and Jay, the pair of gays, was going to be this week. That is still happening. However, the gays and us could not find a meeting schedule, so it's been rescheduled. So it'll be next week. So you get one more week before Mark inevitably gets us cancelled, and so when he says something next week. So you get one more week where we're home free.
Yes. I've enjoyed our run. It's been good. We had a good time.
I think next week's going to be fine. It's going to be very, very funny. Jim and Jay are bringing. I have a group chat with me, Jim and Jay, for that episode. Mark, you've been purposely excluded from that group chat.
Cheers.
You're welcome. Jim and Jay are bringing the fire next week.
Excellent.
Yeah.
I like it. I'm welcoming all angles. Well, actually,
which is good because it's Pride Month, so maybe you should be welcoming all angles.
I was going to say maybe I should read through it.
This week it is 1932 Mississippi, and we follow twin brothers Smoke and Stack, who after a less than stellar career in the Chicago mob decide to retire to their hometown to open up a juke joint and presumably make an honest living. Well, less dishonest than the one they were making in Chicago. Their grand plan for a thriving blues club hits a snag when they discover everyone is paying with glorified Monopoly money. And then things really go sideways when a discerning group of white vampires, led by an Irish immigrant, crash the party. Um, this movie is something. It's something. And Sammy's voice is something else as he transcends the barriers of everything and brings in the evil. Awkward family reunions, hoodoo, voodoo, witch spells, racist landowners, the KKK, prohibition, much, much, much more. Today we look at Ryan Coogler's 2025 Sinners.
Doesn't that make you gay?
That was the wrong clip. That
I was going to say, is that for next week?
Yeah, that's for next week. This is the right clip.
Blah, blah, vampire emergency, blah.
Fucking hell.
Excellent.
Oh, we're off to a flying start. I'm going to say it now. I fucking loved this film.
Yeah, me too. Again, I do this all the time. It's like one of those big hooping and hollerings on Instagram and all the rest of it. This is the best horror movie I've ever seen and all the rest of it. I'm like, you guys, man, you're never usually right. It turns out this week they were. This was fucking brilliant, man. I honestly, I'm going to really struggle this week to find anything to really pull it apart on.
Yeah, and I'm the same as you. Like, I want to start with the two brothers. No, in fact, I'm going to start with the cold open because the cold open's amazing, where you get this guy just like running, like all burnt and fucked, and like, the fuck is this? Like, it knocks on that door, and like, did you twig straight away he was a vampire who was escaping the sunlight?
That's not the cold open.
Is that not the cold open? When's that then? Is that further in?
That's like, it's like a third of the way into the movie. That, like, the cold opens where Sammy goes to the preacher's church. He goes to the church. He's got the guitar. He's got cut up from the end of the events of the movie, and then he comes full circle again right at the end. It goes back to the opening sequence. But yeah, no, that the vampire running towards a house is like a third of the way in.
Yeah, it is a third of the way, and I don't know what's going on. But yeah, no, Sammy in the opening, like that sort of bursting in, and he's like, he looks so fucked up as well. Because I remember when I was like, he's had a rough night. Michael B. Jordan and Michael B. Jordan. Yeah,
I mean, these two in this movie. These two, that's a weird way to put it. Michael B. Jordan in this movie is fucking fantastic. And I think, did Ryan Coogler write the script for this as well as direct it?
Yes. Yeah.
Right. So his writing for these two characters is fucking impeccable, to the point where the only movie, I know there's a lot of films that do dual roles from a singular cast member. Most of them executed very well. The best one I've seen is Legends with Tom Hardy, where he plays the Cray twin brothers.
Yeah.
And I think the only way I can sort of dive into this movie is by discussing Legend, because what they do in Legend with Tom Hardy is they have two very polar opposite characters played by the same person, but it's very easy to distinguish the two of them apart because they are so different in personality and a bit of prosthetics to help them look different. In this movie, they both look identical, barring the slight bit of grill, and one wears a flat cap and one wears a top hat.
One's got a red hat, one's got a blue hat.
One's got a red hat, one's got a blue hat.
And then at the end, one's got a white shirt and one's got a black shirt. And that is the distinguishing feature.
I think the thing is what's so great about the writing of these two characters throughout this movie is that when you're watching Legend, you know which Cray twin is the better of the two. And that's the one you're invested in wholeheartedly. In this movie, I don't think there's enough distinguishing qualities between the two to be like, because I didn't know. I knew one of them was going to turn because I've seen the trailer to this movie, so I knew what direction it was going to go in at some point. However, for me, I was like, I can't decide which one of you it's going to be. I couldn't decide whether it was Stack or whether it was Smoke, because both of them are genuinely good people, albeit gangsters and doing bad shit, but they're both sort of on the same sort of level. There's not instantly one of them that's written as he's a bad one he's the good one. This is the one that's going to come out on top, and this is the one that's going to get turned. And you could pinpoint it straight away, because I couldn't, even up until the point where it actually happened. I was like, fuck, I actually thought it was going to be the other one. I thought it was going to be Smoke that was going to be the one to go.
The thing is, they're both bad guys. Like, neither of them are necessarily nice people. Like, when they get back to the town and they're talking about they want to set this juke joint up, and like they need to split up, and one needs to go to town and one needs to go collect Sammy and whatever. Like, the guy who's going to town is like, oh, I can't just leave the truck. And he's like, you can. It's like, will they remember? It's like, we left enough of a memory in this town. We've been gone for years. If you say that's my truck, no one's fucking touching it. I was like, yeah, you two have got a past. Like, also that scene with the snake jumping out of the back of the truck was brilliant.
Really, really cool. CGI was a bit wonky, but again, I'm nitpicking, man. I'm nitpicking. It was good. It was good, but it was noticeable. But it was still a very cool scene. And I love his fucking gold knuckle duster machete blade thing that he has to kill it with. And the way the two of them are just passing it back and forth as if it's so natural between each other, like the twin antenna shit that they have going on.
Yeah, they're really cool. Like, their interactions throughout are brilliant. I love Sammy. Like, when they go pick up Sammy, who's their younger cousin, he's the, like, just the nice kid. And like, when he comes out, his dad comes and stands there and he's like, don't worry, uncle, we'll have him back in one piece. And I'm like, well, you at the end of the film, I'm like, you kept your word. It's not quite how you intended to. The race, I'm bouncing all over the place because there's so much.
Yeah, I think we're going to have to with this movie. It's one of those. It's just, there's so many things that keep popping up in my mind that I want to discuss, but it's just, let's just do what we're doing with it.
The scene where they buy this abandoned warehouse, and you get the landowner, the clearly racist member of the KKK who you meet right at the beginning.
Yeah, you see, the thing is, though, I didn't know that. Like, that's what made the twist at the end so cool to me. Or I mean, it's revealed probably about 2/3 of the way in, but then it fulfills it right at the very end. I was like, oh, shit. I didn't see that coming.
I got it there and then, because they asked him why the floors were clean. Like, why would you clean the floors in an old barn? And he's like, spits on the floor, do you want to buy it or not? And in that instant, I was like, he's used that to kill people. That's why he's cleaned the floors, because he's hiding the evidence. But
yeah, you see, I didn't know that. I didn't pick up on that at all.
The bit where he goes, you two brothers, and they go, no, we're cousins, like, fucking cracked me up.
Yeah, the dynamic and chemistry between the two is great. And it's so weird because I'm talking about them like they're two separate actors in this movie, and that's how much of a good job Michael B. Jordan does in this film. And I don't want to shit on Michael B. Jordan as an actor, because I think he's great. I think he's fantastic in the Creed movies. He's fucking phenomenal in those Creed movies. Apart from the last one, which he directed, he was fucking terrible at directing that film. But as an actor, I've never really put him any higher than just, I don't know, like he was in that Marvel movie where he played the bad guy in that. Like, to me, he's always just sort of like that. He's never really struck me as being a lead other than anything that's going straight to sort of Netflix, if you imagine that sort of level of. But here, he's just a fucking powerhouse, man.
Yeah, he's so good in this, and I'm sure we're going to keep harking back to how good he is in this. I tell you what, it got me in this. The amount of description on how to eat a pussy contained in this movie blew my fucking mind. Like,
I learned a lot.
I learned loads. Like, when he's driving with Sammy and he's like, you want to treat it like it's an ice cream. Like, you want to lick it hard enough that you get good taste, but not hard enough you push it off the cone. And I'm like, yeah. Sat there with a pen and paper going, right, not too hard to push it off the cone. and that, again, like, the writing, that moment where he's telling Sammy how to do that comes full circle later. And you're like,
it does.
So good.
I mean, to be fair, though, in that scene, I probably maybe would have let her wash first, but he was desperate for the taste.
Yeah, he was like, no, don't clean. I'm happy. I'm like, nah.
Yeah, but she was down. She was game.
She 100% was. What do you think of the wives and girlfriends of Smoke and Stack? because they are chalk and cheese. And I like the fact there's a big history with these four characters. So you've got, I can't remember which one it is, Smoke or Stack, like his wife, who's
Smoke
the hoodoo.
is with Smoke is the one who survives. He's the good guy.
Yeah,
Stack is the one who's with Hawkeye's daughter or cousin or young Hawkeye.
So Smoke is the one who's got the hoodoo wife. Like,
yes,
the bit of history we get there where they turn up, and I just thought he'd gone to see, like, he goes to visit
it's his
son's
aunt or something.
Yeah, like he goes to visit his son's grave, and then a woman comes out, and I'm like, oh, it must be like his auntie or something like that. Like 2 seconds later, he's shagging her. I'm like, oh right, oh that's your wife. Okay, now it all makes sense now. Like,
yeah,
and then the dynamic. You've got the other girl who's, I can't think what her name is. It's going to annoy me.
it's like Haley Steinfeld or
Haley
something like that.
Steinfeld.
Yeah.
Her character, like, she goes up to the other brother. She's like, do you remember you like went down on me, fucked me hard, and then just fucking left and never spoke to me again? And he's like, yeah, my bad. I'm a slut like Mark.
Fuck it. I mean, to be fair though, like that, their relationship's really good as well, because he's clearly in love with this girl, but she's white, or at least 90% white.
1/8 black.
1/8 black. Yeah. So I mean, so for him, he knows he loves her, but they don't belong together in this world. So he got her a rich husband and set her up for life where she'd be safe and all the rest of it. So he did right by her in a sense. But yeah, she's not happy. But again, the other Smoke's wife, like their story as well, and the loss of their daughter and the relationship between the two of those was so insightful as well. I was like, oh man, I'm like really invested in both of the worlds that are going on here and how they come together. It was brilliantly done. And I think what Ryan Coogler does very, very well in this movie is he drip feeds information throughout. He doesn't just exposition dump. Everything is sort of slowly, which keeps it engaging, because this was a 2 hour and 10 minute runtime. And when I started watching, I was like, oh, 2 hour and 10 minutes, man, fuck. This is going to be like 60-70% blur, and then it's going to be really cool at the end of the film, which is kind of where I was expecting it to go. But it isn't, because everything that comes in the first 2/3 of the film is done so incredibly well. And again, I hate to have to compare it to From Dusk Till Dawn, but in the terms of the way that the movie plays out in contrast to the main vampirism storyline, everything in From Dusk Till Dawn is so fucking cool in the first half of that film. And I think Ryan Coogler does a good job of setting everything up in a similar sort of vein here and keeping the storytelling at the forefront of the movie. Even after the whole vampirism thing's done with, there's still another 10-20 minutes of this movie that comes full circle and ties up all the loose ends with the story plots. And I was like, oh man, this film's over now. I was really enjoying that. And then I was like, shit, no, there's still another 20 minutes. Let's go. And again, he does a good job of making sure that this movie's not a vampire movie. You know?
Yeah.
It's a vampire movie, but it's not. It's like Dusk Till Dawn. People are like, yeah, Dusk Till Dawn's a vampire movie. Dusk Till Dawn's not a vampire movie. There's like 15 minutes of the titty twister at the end, and that's it. That movie is so much more than just a 15-minute vampire section from Dusk Till Dawn. And I think this is exactly what this movie does as well. It sets itself apart from making itself a cliche vampire movie by having the vampires themselves being a tiny subplot of a movie that is so much more than that.
Yeah, and I think he done well as well by basically at the very beginning when he first marketed this movie, he went, I watched From Dusk Till Dawn. I love From Dusk Till Dawn. I took inspiration from Dusk Till Dawn. Like from the off, he didn't make any bones to try and hide it. He just went, yeah, I love From Dusk Till Dawn. This is my From Dusk Till Dawn, and it's fucking cool. And he's right. It really is. And one thing that caught me completely off guard, I don't know if you are as well, but I'm a big fan of the movie Gone in 60 Seconds.
Yes, I'm aware of the movie. I remember Angelina Jolie with white dreadlocks, if I remember rightly.
Yeah, it was a teen movie that when I was a teenager, like that was my go-to movie. Gone in 60 Seconds was it. And to see the cop from Gone in 60 Seconds as the old drunk blues guy in this, I was like, that's amazing. This is like, that to me was like a big, like, oh fuck, it's him. And again, both him and Sammy, all the singing, all the piano playing, all that shit they actually done, and they are
It's amazing.
both so incredibly talented.
Yeah, man. I mean, that was one thing I was
talented.
going to say to you as well about Sammy's character in general, because there was a lot of times in this where I thought he was audio dubbed. Do you know, his voice is so incredibly low. I was like, dude, you look like 16, 17 max. You know, and you look like you've been smoking 40 Benson and Edges a day for the past 10 years. Not looks or his sound. He's got such a low, husky voice, and his singing voice, man, is amazing. That Traveller song that he sings when they first get in the club is incredible. But not only the song itself is so cool, the scene, man. I was just in awe of this scene for so long, man.
Mesmerized.
At first, when that first Prince dude appeared with the electric guitar, I was like, what the fuck? That doesn't fit in this time period at all. And then as the scene progressed and the song got louder and louder, and you start seeing all these different time periods of black culture within music and fashion, and then it cuts across to the Asian characters and you start to see some of their history and their music. I was like, man, this is just so incredible, and this shouldn't work in a movie that's so grounded within its reality. And then you go and do something like this, which threw me for a curveball straight away. I was like, this is odd. If this doesn't work, this is really going to fuck this movie. And then the more it went on, I was just like, wow, bravo, sir, because that was one of the most incredibly creative things I have seen in a modern day horror movie in probably 10, 15 years. I was like, that was just amazing.
Yeah, and the fact that they prerequisite right at the beginning, you get the voiceover that says that music is incredibly powerful. There are some people who their music is so powerful they can pierce the veil, they can break through time and space, and everything comes together for the moment they play. And then when that moment happened, I was like, oh, I've got goosebumps. Like I've got goosebumps watching all of these different characters come together and like it. That scene's fucking amazing. Also, what's amazing is the two people who own the shop, the husband and wife.
Yeah,
they are fucking great, especially the wife when he turns up and he wants signs for the juke joint, and she absolutely fucking rinses him. She's like, he's like, well, I need him today. She's like, well, it'll be this much. She's like, well, I'm not going to pay you that much. She's like, well, you can't have him today then. And then all of a sudden he's like, no, yeah, all right then, fair enough.
Yeah, I do like that bartering back and forth with the thingy. What was it? And then her husband chimes in. He's like, "Oh, we've only got one color." So then they start bartering again, and he knocks it down even further. He's like, "Fair enough, right? Okay, but I'm taking the flowers." And then that's when he goes to see his wife. Which again, really, really cool scene, and really fleshes out these characters, which was something that I needed by that point. I mean, we was only about 20 minutes in, but I don't think it was a problem with the movie itself. I think it's more just a problem with me as an audience member, because by this point I've been so heavily drowned in exposition and story dumping that when you don't get it in this film for such a long period of time, you kind of find yourself toe tapping of what's happening here. Where is this going? I should be more invested in these characters right now. But then by the time it slow builds through it, it's a masterclass in script writing, I think, this film. And I don't use that word very often, but I do find that Sinners is a masterclass in script writing. I was really, really impressed. I can't wait to see what this guy does next. I really can't.
Do you know what had me in absolute hysterics is when the guy goes into the town, he parks up the truck and he gets the girl to watch the truck, and then he goes in the shop. And while he's in the shop, two people start robbing it, and he gets called out, and he shoots one of them in the arse. And the bloke turns around and is like, oh, smoke. He's like, oh, how you been? How's your mum? He's like, yeah, you shot me in the arse. He's like, you're robbing my fucking truck. And then the other, like, it's all calmed down. And he like goes, look, don't worry, like, you can't do this. And the other guy who hasn't been shot yet, he just shoots him. And he's like, I need you to do that because, like, you can't rob shit from me and, like, not have any repercussions. I was fucking dying. And then when he
can't go around telling people that he nearly robbed the twins and walked away without a scratch.
Yeah, and then he pays for them to get patched up. He's like, he goes back in the shop. He's like, look, I've just shot two guys outside. Like, there's a couple of $100. Can you just like patch them up? I'm gonna go now. So good,
Yeah,
so good.
really, really cool. I think now is a good time to get to the meat and balls of the situation. Let's talk vampires.
Let's talk vampires. These vampires are the greatest vampires to hit our screens in the last 20 years. And
Yep.
it's not even fucking close. Like these
Nope.
vampires, when they rock up with their banjos and their guitars, and they're like, yeah, we'd like to come in. We heard there's a party, because this piercing of the veil music moment, as they want to get Sammy because they want to communicate with their ancestors. That's why they want Sammy. They want him to
Right.
pierce the veil for them.
Right. Okay. See, this is kind of where I knew he wanted Sammy, and I thought it was more just because what they do in this movie is do a good job of translating how, I don't know the guy's name, I'm just going to call him Cook from Skins. If you're British, you will know that reference. If you're not, Google Cook from Skins and you will know what I'm talking about. For me, I knew he wanted Sammy, and I knew he was after Sammy, and it took me a while to understand why he wanted Sammy so badly. And for me, I've only seen this film once, so I missed that opening monologue section, or at least I didn't miss it. I just didn't give it the full attention regarding the piercing the veil thing. So then when that moment actually happened, I was so in awe of the scene itself and everything that was going on around it, I kind of missed the intention of it in terms of its metaphorical sort of suggestive thing and what it was trying to do. So I was just under the assumption, because he's constantly like, hey, Sammy boy. And I'm like, oh, right, okay, you've got a thing for young black men. But it turns out, no, I just then clicked on to, right, he really likes his voice, because the more we found out about him, he starts doing all these different accents of all the people he's like attacked and picked up. And it's just like one big giant brain, very similar to what we get in Stranger Things season 3 with the
hive mind.
The hive mind. And I was like, oh, this is the best. This is my kind of vampire, where they have that zombie-esque kind of all interconnected and the brains are all linked due to the Grand Master. One of my favorite TV series is The Strain, Guillermo del Toro's The Strain. Really I fucking love it. And that's one of those vampire stories that deals heavily with the mind flare kind of thing. So then he starts doing all these accents, and he starts replicating all these voices. He starts speaking Chinese at one point to the lady because he's killed her husband. That's like, oh, this is fucking awesome. That's why he wants Sammy. He wants his voice, because as soon as he gets Sammy, he gets his musical knowledge, he gets his voice, and he can then go on and just be awesome as fuck like Sammy is, which was mega to me. I was like, this is the best connotation of what a vampire is in terms of the interconnection of them. They try and do it in Blade. I can't remember which one it is in Blade. I think it's Blade Trinity, the worst one of them, where Dracula's like, you kill Dracula and you kill the rest.
Yeah, exactly that.
I don't think that's the case in this movie, though, is it? Obviously, bar in the end, we assume it's not. I think maybe they're free. I'm not going to go into the end right now, but I'm just saying I'm assuming they're free from him by the end because he died. But I don't think him dying then killed them.
No, it didn't, and we'll get to the end when we get to it. But the moment that they turn up, and they're like, "Do you know what really made me invest in these vampires?" They're like, "We just want to come play music and like fucking chill out and drink beer. Like we're just guys. We're a guy and a couple of girls. Like we just want to." But
they're not.
No, and it's like they're like, "We'll play for you." The two brothers, Smoke and Stack, stood at the door, watching them play this banjo fucking like almost Confederate style music outside a juke joint in Memphis made me fucking cry. They're like, ding ding ding, I'm gonna get it, ding 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 ding. And the best bit is like Smoke and Stack actually like they're tapping their feet and nodding their head, but they're laughing at the same time, going, yeah, you got some rhythm, but you're still not fucking coming in. And that's one of the biggest plot points is this, them trying to get in and them not having any of it. And they send him on their way, and he's like, well, I'm going to walk real slow because you're going to invite us back. Like, it's very
just in case you change your mind.
Yeah. And this is
but
where
again,
we find
like
out
that whole letting him in thing is just so incredibly fucking well done here. Like who's the guy who's a bouncer?
I can't think of his name, but the
like
big guy.
Cornhead or something like that. Yeah,
Yeah,
Cornface or Cornhead. He's one of the ones that goes out pretty early on when he goes for a piss. And then after Stax died, he comes back and he's like, "Oh, what's going on, guys? You're going to invite me in so I can help?" And that's
yeah,
when they all start clicking together and putting it together. It's like, invite you in, like you've been coming and going all day. He's like, "Oh, I know, but it's just common courtesy. You know, you just got to invite me in so I can come in and help you guys." And I was like, this is fucking awesome, because I always liked
it-
that invite me in mythology that goes along with vampires. Like they can't go in
yeah.
unless they're invited. Like it's cool, but it really fucking hits home in this film.
This film does it the best since Salem's Lot, of like the fact that that is a real barrier. There's so many vampire movies that they kind of touch on it and they don't make a big thing of it. This movie, that barrier is the biggest protection they've got all the way through.
Yeah,
And like they're in the juke joint and they realize that all of these people who work in the cotton fields are paying with tokens. And I watched a documentary not that long ago all about landowners and slave owners. So when slavery ended, they had to pay them a wage. So what they would do is they'd pay them in tokens that they could only spend in their stores, so they couldn't then leave and go to other towns because they didn't have money. So they're paying with
yeah,
tokens, which are no good to the brothers. And this is
yeah,
where the girl's like, "Well, look, I'm white. Let me go speak to the white people outside, like who've just left, because they said they've got money and maybe they can come in and like backfill some of this money we're getting in tokens and it'll all be cool." And he reluctantly goes, "Yeah, okay, you can go." And even her, like she goes, she gets turned off camera. But when she comes back, even she turns around to the guy at the door and goes like, "You gonna stand in my way all night or are you gonna invite me in?" And he's like, "Well, in you come, madam." And
yeah,
as soon as he done it, I was like, "Oh, you're all dead. You're all so
yeah.
fucking dead."
Yeah, they are all dead. I was going to say something then, and my mind just completely went somewhere else. Um, yeah, I don't know. We could be here a while. Let's move on.
Yeah, and this is where she comes in and she takes, is it Smoke or Stack? I can't. She takes whichever one it is she's with.
Smoke's a good one. She's with Stack.
Yeah, so she takes Stack into the back room, and
I
this is
got
where
real confused in this scene. Really, really fucking confused, because I thought she'd taken Smoke in, because the conversation between the two of them was as if to insinuate like they were going to cheat, and she was trying to lure his brother in, but it turns out that
yeah,
wasn't the case. I was just getting crossed wires. But I thought, oh, that's your brother's girlfriend. What are you doing? And then eventually I realized, no, it wasn't. She's taking
yeah.
the
So
right one in.
she takes him in to have sex, and you've got the other brother who's dealing with someone who's been cheating. How long did they kick that bloke on the floor who got caught cheating at cards? There's about a 3-minute conversation, and these people all are just kicking this poor bloke on the floor for the entire conversation. Like,
And they do it beat for beat with the music that's playing. It's just, it's so fucking clever, man. And like the music throughout, by the way, if you're a fan of blues or southern country music or any of that kind of jazz, this has got fucking rhythm from start to finish as this film. It
yeah,
reminded me
it
a lot of
really,
a movie that I liked. It came out really fucking under the radar with Samuel L. Jackson and Christina Ricci, called Black Snake
oh, Black
Moans.
Snake Moan, brilliant film.
Such a fucking cool movie, man. And then it's got a very similar vibe throughout as this film, with the music and the score and all the rest of it. It's really, really well done.
Yeah, really well done. It's in this moment where he goes to Sammy, "Go get my brother." And he goes down, and by this time the guy at the door's gone and got killed. And there's another the old blues man is sat there, and he's like, "Is he in there?" He's like, "Yeah, he's in there." And he opens the door, and he thinks they're having sex, and he closes the door. And the guy who sat on the door, the old blues man's laughing his ass off. He's like, "You could have warned me." He's like, "Hey man, you wanted to go in there. I'm all about like doing what you feel." And then he goes back, and he's like, "Look, I told you to get him." He's like, "I'm not going to get him on my own. Like, if you want to come get him, like, you come with me." And this is where they come in, and she's ripped his fucking throat out. And she turns around, and she's absolutely caked in blood. I love the glisten in their eyes as well, like that, almost like
Yeah.
fire in the eyeball. Brilliant.
Yeah, it's like when you took a photo in the 80s and your eyeballs had come out red when you printed it. They look really good, man. Really, really cool. One thing that particularly drew me to the vampires in this movie as well. As much as I was invested in the mind flayer kind of stuff, was how quick the turn was. They turn
Yeah.
like zombies, man, and it's like so fast, so quick. And then when they're up and they're about, the immediate change in them is almost zombie-esque. It's incredible, man. I love zombie movies. I love mind control movies. Add the vampire lore in there. I just feel like this has got the perfect mixed bag, man. It's so fucking clever.
Yeah, like she gets away, and this is where they've locked the door on the brother, and this is where the wife's like, "Oh, I think these are." She thinks they're something else, so she thinks they're demons. She thinks the people are possessed, and then all of a sudden she goes, "Oh no, these are vampires," and everyone looks at her and she's like, "Yeah, they're so much fucking worse than what I thought it was." And you see him,
yeah, well, because Stack wakes up, doesn't he? Stack wakes up and he breaks through the door, and she chucks the jar of garlic pickles at him.
Yeah,
and the garlic burns his skin, and that's when she comes to the conclusion that they're vampires. And I'm like, how? So vampires are a thing, or is it just because she's voodoo and she understands this kind of shit?
No, vampires have been a thing in sort of modern cultures and religions for hundreds and hundreds of years. Vampires go back almost as far as biblical text. Like,
see, one thing again that I like.
Old.
Yeah, but I mean, in this law, in this world, in this universe that we're invested in watching right now.
Yeah, 1930s, people knew who vampires were. Fucking Nosferatu come out in 1922.
Yeah, but no, you know what I mean. I don't know. But my point is, what was really cool was when Smoke first goes and meets his wife at that gravesite, and then they go in the house and he bangs her on the table and all the rest of it. They have that conversation, and she's like making the root protection spells and stuff. And he's like, "Look, I've been all over the world. I've seen everything you could possibly think of. I've seen men die in ways that I didn't even know were imaginable. But in all these time I've been traveling around, I've never seen ghosts. I've never seen demons. I've never seen a witch." And I was like, you might want to be careful about what you're saying here.
Yeah, and he's got a protection, like a sack of like little small sack of protection herbs that she's made him, and he's like, "This didn't bring our son back. Like, this doesn't save anyone. Like, this doesn't protect anyone." Sure, well, you're still here. And then later in the movie, when he's like, "Can you bring my brother back?" She's like, "I can't. Like, it's not how it works." But she's shit hot, because she's like, once she realizes, and they're all outside and they all need inviting back in, she's like, "We need steaks, we need garlic, we need silver bullets." And at no point do they do the hand holding thing and try and explain the vampire lore, because Ryan Coogler knows. We all understand it. Like, he didn't need to spoon feed that. And the same that he didn't spoon feed the fact that it's in the 1930s. We know it's an incredibly racist time. It wasn't like racism is everywhere. He didn't push that. He didn't push the fact that it's prohibition. So the fact they've got alcohol is a big thing. He didn't push the fact that the KKK are about, and like they're also a threat. Like, all of this stuff is just there, and it's just under the surface. And he's just telling a story with characters within this world, and gives the audience enough credit for them to piece everything else back together. And that's, for me, is what made this so good. Is like, it wasn't just this is what's happening and this is what's happening here. And behind the scenes, there's all of this. He just went, "Here's your story," and just left the rest of it for you.
That's it. And that's what I was talking about earlier in terms of the first 20 minutes, where you would have usually in a movie like this with a less competent writer had that level of exposition dump at the beginning, where they would have spoon-fed this backstory to you. They would have spoon-fed this time period to you and made you all aware of what was going on in an almost talking down to you kind of level. That doesn't happen here, because we all know. We don't need to have that exposition, because we already know. But I just want to circle back quickly to the root sack.
Yeah.
Because they do fixate on it quite a lot in this movie in various points. And one thing that I came to the conclusion with during Smoke and Stack's fight scene at the end, Stack tries to bite him a few times, but kind of like can't and doesn't and holds back. Is that the root sack working enough for him to break from the mind flare? I know we obviously get the actual conversation that happened between the two of them at the end, but I mean, in that
Yeah,
moment, are you saying that's what made
that's
him
enough.
break the spell?
Yeah, he went into bite, went, oh fuck, it's my brother. Come back
Because
up,
the root stack was
vampire.
kind of like giving him his own clarity.
Yeah, yeah,
Right.
that's how I saw that. And that fight scene, like that whole fight scene where it's the Asian woman and her husband's outside and he's now a vampire. And they're like, we're going to go and kill your daughter at the store. And she loses her shit and goes, fucking come inside. The bit where they're all stood there and they're
As
all
soon
like,
as she said that, man, I was just like, oh, you stupid bitch, man. What have you done?
yeah, but it gave us one of the coolest shots in the movie because as they all burst in the door, it pans back round and you've got all of these characters with their different weapons, like fucking raring to go, and this just massive like bar fight erupts, and it's great. Like it's so good, and I love the old juke joint guy who's like he kind of like helps them all get to a safe place. He just stands on the stage. He's like, let's fucking have it. It's very reminiscent
Oh, it cuts
of
his wrist,
the
yeah, and his blood everywhere.
yeah, it's very reminiscent of the guy in From Dusk Till Dawn, the big I can't think of his name, the big black guy in From Dusk Till Dawn. He does something
Yes.
very similar where he's like, come and fucking get me to give everyone time. And I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, I mean, the Asian woman's death as well was fucking incredible, man. Where she starts battling with her husband, catches fire,
Yeah,
and then they both just burn to a crisp outside in the doorway. I was like, oh shit, man, that's like fucking
yeah,
brutal in a way. But one thing that we skipped over quite a bit, actually, really, that I want to fixate on is Cook from Skins as a leader of this pack. When he's outside and they're all congregating in sort of like the parking area, if you will, and they're singing the songs, and that Irish song he sings, that Irish shanty song, and you've got
fabulous.
Stack there all turned with Hawkeye's daughter, and you've got all these characters that you've come to know throughout this film, just so engrossed in this sort of Rumpelstiltskin leader as he's singing this incredible song, man. I was just like, fuck, it's such a cool scene, man. And it just shows the level of control that he has over these people without, again, like you say, spoon feeding such a complex law to us, because it is a complex law and there is many
Yeah,
questions that could be asked about how this works and how this comes together, but it doesn't need to be. You don't need to ask it. You just take it for what it is. It does a good enough job of, this is what it is, this is how it works, enough for you to know how it works without me explaining the rest of it to you.
yeah, and I really enjoy like the very closing moments of this like vampire part of the movie where Sammy takes him out with his guitar, like smashes his guitar around his head, and like the big bit on his guitar is silver. Just takes a big chunk out of his head, and he turns into like a spiral of fire up into the sky. Like that's fabulous. I love that whole segment. I love the fact that Sammy just gets in the car and fucking goes. But I
Well, yeah,
also
well, I mean,
love,
you're missing a bit there because Sammy whaps him with a guitar. The silver thing goes in his head. It hurts him. Do you know what I mean? And I love how all the other vampires feel it, and they're all there like screaming, like, ah! And I was like,
yeah,
oh shit, man! If he dies, they all die, kind of thing. But it's smoke, isn't it? It's smoke that comes down from the building after he's had his fight with his brother, and he's the one who kills him and stakes him.
yeah, yeah. He kills him and stakes him, and this is where Smoke sends Sammy off. He's like, look, go home, go be a preacher. It's the following morning. This scene is incredible. This was
Did not see this coming.
my favorite moment of the entire fucking movie, killing clan members. And
Yeah,
my
and again,
God,
like that whole thing, that setup thing that we get here, like at the beginning, you said you clicked it straight away. I didn't.
yeah,
Then Cook from Skins goes to that house and he saw their memories and there was a KKK cloak on the side. Didn't pick
yeah,
up on it then either. And then later on, he explains to him, he's like, this isn't your bar, man. This is a fucking slaughterhouse. They give you
yeah,
this, they've taken your money, they've penned you in, and they're coming to kill you all. And they're like, what? What? And then the end of the movie comes and you get this fucking John Wayne scene. And I'm like, holy shit, it didn't need to show us this, but it's gonna, and it's gonna be fucking awesome. And it was.
yeah. So that all the clan members pull up, and by this time, Smoke's already hiding in the bushes. He's already got all of his weapons out of his car, and he sat there with it. Starts off with a sniper rifle, takes a couple out. Then he's out of the bushes with a fucking like submachine gun, takes a couple more out, couple of grenades, and it ends with him and the landowner. And the landowner's like, oh, like try to get him to like show him mercy. He's like, I got money. He's like, I don't want your fucking money. And this is where he's starting to die. And he's got his wife.
Oh man, he takes a fucking bullet like a champ though. Either way, he took that
Oh,
bullet like
doesn't
he
even
was the
flinch.
Terminator.
It
Just looked, it just goes. I was like, it just kept going, and I was like, oh shit, man, like it's just a fucking flesh wound. But no, it kills him. He's dying, and then in his dying visions, he sees his wife and his daughter who died previously. Again, we didn't even touch upon the fact that he killed his wife in order to prevent her from turning because of the promise he made to her. Such a fucking awesome scene. But this final segment, and he's like having these dying visions of his wife and his daughter, and a clan member like pipes up. He's like, I've got money, and then he like loses focus on his wife and his daughter, and he must just round off about 1 million bullets into this dude. Just lights him up with his Tommy gun. I was like, fucking hell. I mean, he deserved it. Don't get me wrong, but
100% he did. And then the crowning moment for this is that first post-credit scene. The post-credit scene where you've jumped forward to I think it's 1992 or 1991, and Sammy is now an old man, and he's still playing blues in the juke joint, and you get Stack and his girlfriend who are vampires who escaped so when they come out, they just fucking run. They saw shit was going down, they went, nah, fuck that, and run away. And they come in.
And again, this is it though. That's why I was saying about the root thing. Did that break his clarity from Cook from Skins in order for him to be like, flee? Because then Smoke made him promise not to go after Sammy if he let him live.
Yeah, you can't touch Sammy if I let you live. And that moment where he reveals, like, yeah, but my brother didn't kill me. Just set the condition that I couldn't kill you. And he's like, can we hear you play? Like, it's been like 70 years. Like, we want to hear you play. And then he plays for him, and he's like, you know, you could play forever. And Sammy's like, do you know what? It's a sweet offer, but thank you very much, and get the fuck out. Did you stay for the second post-credit scene?
No, I didn't.
Okay, so there's another post-credit scene where it goes back to before Sammy had left the church at the very beginning, and it's just Sammy just playing his guitar, and he's singing a church song. Man, that boy can sing. I think Michael B. Jordan said it best when they were in the car on the way to the juke joint, and he started playing, and Michael B. Jordan almost crashes the car. Like, whoa, boy, you can sing.
His voice is incredible, man. I could have sworn to you I didn't think it was his voice. I thought it was like ADR or whatever you call it, where it's like audio dubbed. But man, that voice is incredible.
I had to check it. Like his voice, also the married woman that he goes down on and starts having sex with, her singing, she's actually sings that as well, and she's incredible. The guy from Gone in 60 Seconds, like the piano playing and the singing he does is actually him, and that to me adds a level of authenticity that I just buy into it so much more.
Yeah, definitely.
Anything else you want to touch on before we move on?
No, I don't think so. I think we've pretty much covered all bases here. This movie's fucking awesome. There isn't really a lot else to say about it, I don't think.
Honestly, like I'll say it in my roundup again, but I'm going to say it now. If you have not seen Sinners and you are listening to this, like just the enthusiasm from me and Mark and the runtime we're at, and we've not touched on half of what I would like. We could do this for another 2 hours.
Oh man, I reckon we could do 2 individual episodes just based on the opening half and the closing half alone. This could be a 2-parter without a doubt.
Yeah, it really, really could. Well, I guess it's that time of the day then. It's time to do recommended account of the week. Are you ready? Would you like a soundbite?
Of course, always.
Okay.
Hey, where are the white women at?
I mean, talk about timescales.
I'll give you a different one. I'm sorry.
Holy shit. I'm not racist. These people really do all look alike.
And for this movie, that is 100% accurate because Smoke and Stack really do look alike.
Right. So this week's recommended account of the week is Family Frights Podcast. Mary, as you all know, long-time guest on the show, used to have a podcast with Heather. she has set up her own family-based podcast with her son, which is the most adorable thing on the planet. I'm not going to lie to you. They are reviewing horror movies and all other glorious things. I feel like you have a lot more knowledge about this podcast than I do, as you kind of said, do this week. So I'm new to picking up on it and figuring out what this is. So you take the lead on this one.
This is Mary. This is Lady Crisis. She has started a podcast with her son Neo, and they're reviewing movies that they've started off doing their top 10 horror movies, but they're all family based. It's one of those podcasts that I listened to the first episode, and it's so wholesome. Also, Neo fucking slaps with dad jokes, like proper inspiration for You Run podcast. Opened with the most banger of a dad joke, and I'm like, that's it. I'm every single time now I'm listening. I need to hear more. Like they're doing that, but it's all like movies that kids can watch. Like you could put.
I was going to say, like, because is she letting him watch like Human Centipede and stuff like that?
No, so this is like PG movies, Universal movies, like PG-13, some of those as well. But this is a podcast like you could put on. I've put this on for Jack this week. So Jack's listened to this week. It's a podcast that, as a parent, you could listen to with your child, and also you could use it as a very good benchmark of what can I show my kid. That is really, really good for that. So, go and check out Family Frights podcast. This feels weird. I don't do this bit. You do this bit. Go and check out Family Frights podcast on Instagram, Spotify, everywhere else. We'll actually drop the link in the episode bio as well. And I guess it's time for an advert now.
Yes. Cue the music.
Spiral swirly thing. Shenanigans like this are par for the course at Fans of the Dead. Whether it's reviewing a brand new horror movie every single month or taking you on a deep dive tangent into something related to the horror world, Fans of the Dead is the place to go for fun, entertainment and laughter.
He's part of that family, like, not wanting to be.
Kind of his fault.
And he's kind of saying, like, stay on the road, stay safe.
The Horror Friendly Podcast is a podcast with bite. Hosted by Katie and Chantel, this is full of banter, full of jibes, full of laughs and full of alcohol. And bad language. This show literally has everything you could possibly desire as a horror fan. For these and many other entertaining shows, head over to yourunpodcast.com. Check them out today. So make sure you go and check out what turned out to be this week mine and Mark's recommended account of the week. You know where to find them. We'll stick a link in the bio. Also, check out yourunpodcast.com, where you'll find links to all of the members of the You Run Podcast Network, our shows, our socials, and our super fantastic merch store, where you can pick up T-shirts. Lots and lots of T-shirts, lots of different designs to choose from. If you're an Instagram kind of person, make sure you check us out there. We're at You Run Podcast. That's where you get to vote on the movies we cover. We're also on all the other socials as well, at You Run Podcast. If you are on Instagram, make sure you follow Mark. He's at VHS from the Crypt, where he showcases his huge and very impressive collection of VHS, some of which I now have behind me. But I'm going to talk about that a little bit more in a minute. And Reviews from the Crypt, where he reviews horror movies for you to read and then discuss and comment on and then go and watch them. You can also get in touch with the show by sending an email, yourunpodcast@gmail.com, or by sending an audio DM on Instagram or X, or you can do a TikTok, tag us, and that will also appear on the show. Now, we spoke about Patreon last couple of weeks. And we said it would be really cool if we had like a voiceover guy to do us a Patreon ad. And our buddy Newman, Movies for Days, Newman, who is member of the You Run Podcast Network, he come up absolute fucking trumps. So this is Newman.
Hey, Scott. Hey, Mark. It's Newman from the Movies for Days podcast. Sorry if I'm late to the party on this one, but I heard your call and I just wanted to offer this up to you. Traditional movie guy. Coming this summer to Patreon. The mid-90s horror. Coming this summer to Patreon. The 70s grindhouse. Coming this summer to Patreon, the You Run Podcast Network. Join Scott and Mark. They do the analysis. They get the girls. A dangerous land for dangerous podcasters everywhere. When danger strikes, Scott and Mark will be there. YouRunPodcast.com. Coming to Patreon this summer. If you can handle it.
Mega. Absolutely fucking mega.
When he sent me that, the smile on my face went literally ear to ear. I was like, that is the best thing ever. Newman, thank you so much. We have officially launched our Patreon. We've done it very, very quietly. We just launched it, put a link on Instagram, and yeah, welcome to our first patrons, Kate and Dave, like straight away. I'm over the moon. If you don't like listening to this part of the show where we hit you all the ads, you no longer don't have to. Like for $1.99, you can get ad-free content, early episode drops. They're 5 days early, so you will get this episode 5 days before anyone else. There's also some exclusive content on there. We also have lots of other tiers on there where you can get additional shows, which we're going to record straight after this. You have the power to control elements of those shows, influence the poll picks for this show. You get personalized episode, access to our calendar, like loads of other stuff as well. Like Patreon is packed with stuff. So if you can spare a whole 7p a day to support us for an extra like content and other stuff, do that. Go to patreon.com/You Run Podcast. If you can't support us financially, that's fine. We get it. Fucking times are tough. Do it in the free way. Share the episode with a friend. Leave us a 5-star review on Apple or Spotify, or comment on YouTube or Spotify, as these help us grow as well. Anyway, let's do some facts.
It's factual. Can someone put it on the computer?
I don't know why I'm laughing so much at that.
So Ryan Coogler said that Remick is inspired by a particular character. And when he said what character, my little mind went, like, blew my mind.
Who's Remick?
Remick is the vampire, the lead vampire. The
Cook.
Irish, yeah, you Cook. So he's inspired by death in Puss in Boots, The Last Wish. So he's inspired by the wolf.
I don't get that reference at all.
There's a wolf in Puss in Boots, The Last Wish, who comes after Puss because he's run out of lives. So death is now coming for him. And
that sounds awesome. That's a movie?
Yeah, that's a movie. Honestly, that is the best Puss in Boots movie. And like
so his 9 lives have gone and death is coming to take him. Oh my fucking God. That is the best thing I've ever heard.
Yeah, so like Pussy's like having a fight, and then like you see this wolf in the shadows, like just lingering there, and he starts going. It's like, oh, that's chilling. So yeah, that's who Remick was inspired by.
Okay, I need to watch that.
So the guy who played Remick, he signed on to do this character, having only read part of the script. He got to the bit where he got to sing Irish folk music, and he signed and sent back. Like that was it. It's
awesome.
like I get to sing and dance. Yeah, shit, I'm in. So he said that the two biggest influences for this is From Dusk Till Dawn and The Faculty, which coincidentally are both directed by Robert Rodriguez, which I thought was cool.
I now you say The Faculty as well, like the whole Mind Flyer thing. That is literally a combination of the two movies.
Yeah, it really, really is. So Christopher Nolan and his wife Emma jumped in to help Ryan Coogler with this because he hadn't filmed on 65mm, and they jumped in. Imagine that. Like, what world do you live in where Christopher Nolan goes, yeah, I've done 65mm. Like, do you want a hand? Like, I'll just pop down, give you a hand. Like, it's Christopher fucking Nolan, and he's there going, "You just do it this way." Yeah, it's cool, which I thought was amazing. So Miles Canton, who plays Sammy, he learned to play the blues and do everything for this in 2 months. Never played the blues.
Oh shit, man! So the fact that not only is this his voice, he's not already like an established player or a singer. He had to learn how to do that for this movie. That is fucking mental.
2 months, and what he'd done is he found a local Philadelphia artist called Randy Boland, and this guitarist quite often busks on the trains in Philadelphia. So he'll go and take a train from New York to Philadelphia and he'll busk. So Miles Canton went and sat with him and learnt to play with him while he was busking on a train. So he'd done thousands of miles backwards and forwards from Philadelphia to New York for this, just learning to play the guitar.
Awesome. That's really cool.
Yeah. Remick mentions how the Christians took his fatherland. Now, this I thought was really cool because it ties into actual history, because it's all about the Christians did take sort of his mortal life somewhere between the 5th and the 7th century, which would put Remick at about 1,300 years old. If it goes back to when Christians took Ireland, that makes him like 1,400 years old, which again I thought was cool.
Yeah, because I did always wonder.
Yeah, at what age he is.
Yeah.
I've got one more here. I'm struggling to read it. I don't know why. So the musical montage was inspired by Lovers Rock. Have you ever seen this?
What is that, a movie?
Yeah, it's a movie. It's an old art house movie that had Steve McQueen in it, and it's in that scene. There's lots of music and lots of like genre bending. It's a real weird movie, and Ryan Coogler watched that and went, "I want to do that, but I want to do it my way." So, like, if you put those scenes next to each other, they're not the same, but you can see how much he drew from that, which I thought was really, really cool. We have voicemails. We have lots of voicemails. Where do you want to start? Do you want to start with the happy ones and move into the grumpy ones, or start with the grumpy ones and end on a high note?
Are they all directed at me again? Am I in trouble again this week?
No, I don't think so. I think you're quite loved. There's a little bit of grumpiness in here.
But in that case, we can start anywhere. Let's mix it up. Let's do a mixture of all of them.
Okay, well, we'll start with Heather, and I need to put some context to this. So Heather listened to our episode on Castle Freak. A message in the group chat, "You made me cry." I was like, oh, fuck.
Oh, I was so fucking busy that day when she messaged in the group chat, so I haven't actually heard this myself yet.
Yeah, so she messaged saying I made her cry, and I'm like, "Oh, I'm really sorry. Like, I didn't mean to make you cry. Like, really, really, really sorry." And she sent this message.
Hey, oh no, it's nothing to be sorry about. I was going to say that I had an uncle who passed away probably 14 years ago. He passed away a few months before my 13-year-old son Kathan was born. And long story short, so I don't ramble on, he had a cognitive disability. He had, I guess what you would say is like the mind of like an 8-10-year-old, and he passed away when he was 42. So he had what they would call mental retardation, which I hate using that word, but that is what they labeled it as. But he had a slew of health issues too. I mean, like, he shouldn't have even made it past the day he was born, and he defeated odds. But anyway, where I'm getting at is that growing up, I was really close with him because I would stay with my grandmother a lot. And he always lived with his parents until he died. And we would watch scary movies together. And Full Moon, Castle Freak, I think I watched it when I was about 12 when it came out. And I just have all these vivid, fond memories of us. Like, I'd stay over at my grandma's, and we would go in the living room and like watch all these like obscure, crazy horror movies. And I don't know, it just made me miss him a little bit because he loved shit like this. And the funny thing is even though he didn't have like the ability to think on a level like an adult would, he knew what he was talking about, and he knew a lot about electronics and collected VHS and all that kind of stuff back then. He also would be like, "Oh, there's boobs in this movie." He was hilarious. But anyway, he suddenly passed, though it was a bad day. But anyway, that was it. I'm sorry. It's not y'all's fault. It's just my hormones are out of control, and it just made me miss him a little bit. But I'm going to continue listening because I'll have more to rant about later. Okay, bye.
Oh, that's nice, man. That's really nice that you can have those memories and we can bring those good times on. through discussing horror. That's one thing I love about movies. My wife doesn't really get it. She just thinks I'm weird. Not just because I watch horror movies, but because I get so heavily invested in anything, really. You know me, I have a very addictive personality. Anything I
As
kind
do
of,
I.
I get so invested in certain things, be that movies or TV shows. But like one thing I always say to my wife is like sometimes we'll watch a film together, and it will probably shape our relationship going forward. I can't explain to you how many times in my marriage we've been in an argument, and I've turned to her and I've said, "Look at me, I'm the captain now."
Yeah.
And she gets it, and it'll break the moment, and we'll laugh because we watched Captain Phillips together, and like just something so silly in a shared moment will make us both sort of come together in that moment. And I just think the joy of cinema and movie making is so impactful and so important in people's life, especially when it's shared. Like there's so many things just from this podcast alone that we've spoke about with movies where we've gone on to reference and have a constant discussion about and throwback over the years of our own relationship. And I just think that message was really nice, Heather. It's not very often on this show where we get a message from you and I don't immediately want to just attack you unwillingly for no reason. It's weird this week to have this from you, but it's made me really happy that you did send that message because it's made me really grateful for the memories I've shared with people over my lifetime already through movies and through cinema. Yeah, cheers, man. That was great. Thanks for calling in and being so open and honest about that. I really appreciate that message. That was nice.
I did as well. And also, I definitely would have got on with him. He likes collecting VHS, which now, like, thanks to Mark, and now behind me, I have a selection of VHS and I have a VHS player coming. I don't know what he's done to me, but also he instantly screams boobies when he sees them on the screen. We would have been the best of friends ever.
Certainly. And speaking of your VHS tapes, oh man, that's a dark slope, mate. Because the thing is, I started with 4 tapes, probably only 3 years ago. Look at the state of me now. Gareth from Video Tasties messaged me. It was when I built this room, this podcasting studio, and he was like, "Hey, do you want these tapes? They'd look really cool on your shelf." And I was like, "Yeah, man, that would really look cool on my shelf." And they arrived, and they looked fucking awesome on my shelf. And I was like, I should get some more of these.
I'll tell you what you've done to me. I've ordered a shelving unit to go behind me. That's what you've
just
done.
To put them on. Oh, yeah. Dude, no, you're gonna that shelving unit won't last long. You will fill that, and you will need more.
Yeah, well, I have a new home office coming this summer, new podcast studio, which everyone will see later this year. Anyway, let's move on. We have more messages.
First of all, just want to say great episode for Predator 2. That was a fun episode, specifically listening to Mark lose his shit. I don't think he has lost that much shit in one single episode ever. Also, I apologize. I have not been able to listen to your show as much as I would like. But guess what? It is summer break. I'm about to fucking have some more free time. So I will be listening more and sharing your shit more. So if you could do the same for me, this is just a little plug. Hi guys, it's Lady Crisis. I forgot to mention that, but you probably already know who I am. June 1st, which when your next episode comes out, it's going to be past that date. But anywho, June 1st, the first episode of Family Frights podcast featuring Horror Mama Mary as your host and Spookster Neo is going to be released. And I would love it if you could share this so that people can tune in and listen. It's going to be on, I don't know, Spotify, all that, I don't know, all across the board. Scott, you're going to help me figure that out. Anyways, I love you guys. Also, Puppet Masters. Mark, what is your deal? What the fuck? You like the dumbest fucking movies and you don't like the Puppet Master movie or the franchise? Get a fucking life and stop treating Heather. Just stop it, okay? Just stop bullying her because y'all know she's my girl. Okay, I love you guys. Bye.
I feel like I've just been exceptionally nice to Heather in that moment right there. We connected on a level that I didn't know was even possible, I'll be honest with you.
You've connected with Heather. We already plugged the show. Like we ticked all the boxes in that message. So
We're 6 for 6 tonight, man. We're on a roll. We're on a roll.
yeah. The messages keep coming this week.
Hi guys, so I'm just partway through listening to the show, Castle Freak. Just wanted to phone in a couple of things. Absolutely, Mark, you are correct. I always give it to you guys for helping boost my page and get it seen back when I first started it, and you did feature me on your recommended account of the week, which is why I was also left a voicemail a while back about bringing it back, because I think it's a great thing that you do. That Polly Pocket account is awesome. Also, my other half he calls his mum, but his dad is by the first name Phil. I believe I asked him once why, because I also found it really weird. But I'm going to double check when I get home and ask him why, and I'm going to let you know.
But you didn't.
Please tell me we've got a follow. Did she not? We didn't get a follow-up message. He's killed her. She's dead. She's dead. Oh my god, Beck!
Is that what it is?
You prodded the beast.
Yeah, but Beck, like Heather said, she'd have more to say. Heather had nothing to say. Becky said she'd ring us back. She didn't ring us back. Like there's so much left.
Oh my god, what is going on this week? Why are you all doing this to us?
But
Beck, if you're safe, please let us know.
Yes, send us a message to let us know you're okay. We have one more message, so there's this one as well.
Fellas, it's Alex. I just had to call and give a freaking shout out to my man Mark. Freaking trying to think of Jennifer Connelly's name, and he busts out career opportunities, the part when she's on the coin-operated horse.
Yeah,
freaking love it. I see you, dude. Didn't pull out Labyrinth, didn't pull out Requiem, pulled out career opportunities when she's riding on the horse. I dig it. I dig it. Cheers, dudes.
Awesome.
So, yeah, Alex got your reference. I remember at the time going, who the fuck do you mean? And then later on, like after we went off the air, you're like, you know, the girl from Labyrinth. I'm like, why the fuck did you not lead with that?
Oh, that's awesome, man. I feel
say
like
you
everyone's been nice to me this week. That's very unusual.
It is. I quite like it, though. Thank you, everyone, if you called in. We told you earlier how you can call in. We put out a caption this week. As soon as I put it out, as soon as the photograph went, I looked at it and went, oh, what have I done? And this was the photograph.
Okay, now I'm excited.
Yeah. I knew where it was going, and you didn't disappoint. So.
Should I get some of those grill things, the diamante things that's got going on? Do you think I could pull off that sort of like Lil Wayne gangster shit thing?
You could. The chances of me being seen in public with you would reduce, but you could definitely pull it off. Some of you need therapy. Some of you need to check what you post before you post it online, because I'm sharing it with a bigger audience than saw that post. So, randomly, Eric, Mark's nemesis, who's not been a nemesis for a while. I think Mark and Eric are cool now.
No, me and Dave are now nemesis.
Yeah. When she says she has her period, but you say you don't care, and then she matches your freak, put a ring on it.
He's not wrong.
Under the Floorboards podcast, when it's that time of the month, but Mama didn't raise no coward.
Oh man, I know where this is going now.
If you end up like that from that, like there's something wrong. Like look at that picture.
Some people like the taste of iron.
Oh God!
Sorry.
It's like you could see the next comment. Dave B. Movies. You're on what? That's okay. I need my iron.
Oh.
Chaz Presley. When you show her monthly that chivalry is alive and well, always ladies first.
Brilliant.
There were some of you who had your mind a little bit out of the gutter. Mike the Movie Misfit went with the McRib back for a limited time only.
Dude, I fucking hate. I don't want to go on too much of a tangent right now. I don't frequent McDonald's very often, but I do occasionally go, depending on where I'm working and the limited lunch availabilities I have. Their menu is just all over the place, man.
Yeah.
Like literally, they just do not say consistent. I used to be well into like the Chicken Legend. Do you remember the Chicken Legend? They had like this salsa one, the salsa Chicken Legend. It was what fucking dreams were built on, man. It was the best thing you could ever buy from McDonald's. And then they just stopped doing it. They kept the Chicken Legend going for a bit, and it was like a barbecue or a mayo one, but it was dog shit in comparison. And then they just wiped it off completely after a while. Bring back the Chicken Legend, man.
Yeah, and if we're going down that route, it's the same as Burger King. Burger King used to do, or they'd done it for promotions. They'd done it for The Dark Knight. They'd done it for a couple of other movies. They used to do the Dark Whopper, and it used to have like a piri piri mayo, had jalapenos and crispy onion bits. Man, it was the best burger in the world. And they're like, no, we don't do that anymore. And they've never brought it back.
If you are frequented Burger King, you are on way too much money. I went there once. I've been to Burger King once in my life. I got like a bacon XL burger with chips. That shit cost me about fucking 25 quid. And it was the smallest burger I've ever had in my life. I felt robbed.
Yeah. So hopefully no one from work listens to this. So I travel a lot for work, same as Mark. And when I travel, I get my lunches on the company. So when I travel, if I'm going through services, it's always Burger King because I like Burger King, but it's expensive.
It's really expensive, man.
We had Z Loves Horror Flicks, Vampire Skin Routine, 10 out of 10 glow. A little messy, though. And then finally, Dissect That Film Pod when you take advantage of the $10.99 buffet. Don't forget, if you want to get involved in interactive features like this at You Run Podcast, we're everywhere. You'll find us. Sticking with the tradition of games the week before we have a guest being particularly terrible, this week we have a particularly terrible game. Honestly, I looked back through this year. Every week before we have a guest, it's like I've given up. It's like I've got to.
Yeah, it's just like, fuck it. I've put too much effort into the week after, so this is what's going down this week.
Yeah. So this one we have a game which is Old as a Vampire. So I'm going to tell Mark a actor or an actress who played a vampire, and I'm going to tell them how old they are. Then I'm going to tell him another one, and he's going to tell me whether they're older or younger than the person before.
What, the actor or the vampire?
The actor, not the vampire, because that's ridiculous. Just the actor at their current age now, not when they played.
That's ridiculous. What, this game sounds fucking ridiculous.
It really is. For those of you who are watching along, you can also have visual aids for this. So we're going to start with Tom Cruise as the vampire Lestat. So Tom Cruise is currently 62 years old.
That dude, man, honestly, Scientology must work wonders for the skin.
I think so as well. So your next actor, and you need to tell me whether they're older or younger than Tom Cruise, is Gary Oldman, who fabulously played Dracula.
Gary Oldman's definitely older than Tom Cruise.
He is. He's 67.
Oh, shit. I was expecting him to be in his 70s, so that's not... Tom Cruise looks fucking awesome, man.
It really does. So Gary Oldman was 67. How about Wesley Snipes, famously played Blade?
I think Wesley Snipes is younger. I would say he's late 50s. But then again, man, I was young when the first Blade movie came out, and he's got to have been in his 30s in that. So like I would say he's like late 60s, mid 60s is Wesley Snipes.
So he's younger than Gary Oldman. He's 62.
Yeah.
So now on to the worst wig in all of vampire history, Brad Pitt.
Brad Pitt's younger than 62. He's still in his 50s.
He's not in his 50s. He is younger than 62. He is 61 years old.
No way, dude! I just saw on social media the other day he'd done like a new cover magazine shot for like GQ or something like that. That dude is fucking sexy, man. Like, like if any man was gonna turn me, I feel like Brad Pitt would be the man to do it.
And he's a pensioner.
And he's a pensioner. Yeah, he's got his bus pass, and he could still do it.
Let's go from one sexy dude to one sexy woman. Kate Beckinsale. Is she older or younger than Brad Pitt? And she played Celine in.
This is really difficult, right? Because not to single out women, but you guys get a lot of help in masking your age. I know men do too, certain men. I'm sure Tom Cruise is 60% plastic at this point, which is probably why he looks so good. But Kate Beckinsale, goddess of a woman. I would.
Yeah.
She was like, when I was growing up, she was the epitome to me of what was the perfect woman. I thought she was fucking brilliant.
Yeah. Is she older?
And the thing is, like, a lot of people obsessed with her in like the Underworld movies. It was never really my bag. No, I didn't really.
Oh no, all the leather. What's wrong with you? Like,
no, it was movies like she was in Click, wasn't she? The Adam Sandler film. She looked great in that. She looked fantastic in Click. I think she's younger. I don't think she's in her 60s. I think she's mid 50s, early 50s.
She's 51. This is where it gets really difficult. So I've deliberately you've had it easy from here on out. You've been striking every single time. So we're going to another female vampire. We're going to Alicia Silverstone, as she played Goody in Vamp. Now, is she older or younger?
Seen Vamp. I should see that. I think she's older than Kate Beckinsale. Oh, no, because then again, like Clueless. Clueless has got to be like 25, 30 years. Well, no, it didn't come out in 2000. That was a 90s movie. So that's going to be pushing 30 now anyway. She'll have been in her 20s when that movie was made. I would say she's older than Kate Beckinsale, but only ever so slightly. I would say she's 52, 53.
She's not. She's actually younger. She's 48.
Ah, man. Okay.
Next one up on the block is Colin Farrell, who played Jerry Dandridge.
So what was Alicia Silverstone?
Alicia Silverstone was 48. So how
Farrell's
old is
got to be in
Colin
his
Farrell?
50s.
Yeah, you're going older?
I'm going older, yeah. Surely he's in his 50s.
He's 49. He is older, but only just by 1 year. You've got two more. So after Colin Farrell, we're going with one of my favourite vampires of all time by a mile.
Pee Wee Herman?
Maximilian.
From Eddie Murphy's older than 49. Eddie Murphy's definitely older than 49.
He is 64. And this brings us on to the final one, which for some reason I do.
Oh, no, before we go, Vampire in Brooklyn, worth a watch.
It is the most blaxploitation fucking piece of garbage ever, but it's one of those movies that's incredibly entertaining. Eddie Murphy playing a deadpan serious vampire with like a comical character around him just like frazzles your brain. You're waiting for Eddie Murphy to crack a joke, but he doesn't.
And he doesn't.
He's like deadpan. I think he's got one or two like one-liners, but for the most part, he's a ruthless, horrible, nasty vampire. I really enjoy it. I love his character in that.
I think I've got it on VHS. I should check that out. I've got Vampire in Brooklyn on VHS somewhere. I have, yeah. So I can see it right now. I should watch that. There's another one as well with like Jim Carrey. It's like First Kiss or Vampire's Kiss or something like that. I should watch that as well because it's got Courtney Cox in it when she was very young, and I love Courtney Cox very young.
Yeah,
that sounded really wrong. I don't mean like very young, like I mean like season 1, season 2 of Friends. That's my Courtney Cox.
It's a pedo.
No, I'm just saying. I like if people play like out the Friends cast, everyone's always like, "Oh, Jennifer Aniston's like mega. I love Jen." No, Courtney Cox. That was my season 1, season 2. I was obsessed with season 1, season 2 of Courtney Cox.
See, I really love Lisa Kudrow. I think she's amazing.
I get it. I do get it. And she's the only one out of the lot of them who's aged gracefully as well.
She is. Your last one, which for some reason I do not have an image of, which I'll be honest, I'm a little bit disappointed of. This is Santiago Pandemonium, or Salma Hayek. Is she
So the
older
only
or-
one you don't have an image for is the one you can't even fucking pronounce yourself.
Salma Hayek. How old is Salma Hayek? Is she older or younger than 64?
Fucking hell, man. No, she's got to be younger than 64. Surely to God. I've seen her recently in something like a Black Mirror episode, and she looked like 40. I know she's not 40, but she's got the best plastic surgeon in the world if she's older than 64.
She is younger. She is 58. So that's our crap game this week. Also, if you go to our Instagram, I posted a thing the other day where a picture of her in From Dusk Till Dawn. She done a photo shoot for a magazine where she wore the same bikini that she wears in From Dusk Till Dawn.
That might be the photo I was referring to that I've seen recently.
Honest to God, you cannot tell the difference. They could have been taken on the same fucking day. Like, it's exactly the same. Mind bending. I'm gonna let you round this one up first because I think you're gonna gush for a while.
I'm actually not, man. I'm actually not. I'm gonna try and take it a little bit steady this week. I don't. I've said everything I needed to say in this episode. Usually, by the time we get to our roundups, I have like this big thing that I need to explode on and get all these feelings out there that I can without Scott interrupting and telling me that I'm wrong. I don't feel like I need to do that this week because we've both been on the same page. Like, everything about this movie is so perfectly executed. The casting's phenomenal. I think the cinematography and direction is pitch perfect. Like, some of the stuff that he does, especially within that Traveler song montage thing, is just insanely clever. There's a few moments of wonky CGI. The snake at the beginning and the vampire execution at the end. The fire's a bit sketchy on the CGI, but I also like the added flair of as he's burning in the water's bubbling around him like it's boiling like a kettle. It's subtle touches like that are added that sort of made me gloss over this sort of not lazy CGI, but just clearly the lack of funding to amplify them to a certain enough level. They're not bad in any way. And as I said at the start of this episode, I'm really going to struggle to find anything to criticize this movie for. And there's 2 scenes of CGI in this entire film, and both of them are very, very passable. I'm just passing comment on it because that's kind of what I do in terms of practical effects and CGI. I think Michael B. Jordan does an incredible job of playing dual roles. I do feel like that's only held up by the incredible writing by Ryan Coogler because, as I dived into in the episode, I think the way that these 2 characters are written in such a mysterious way of who's good, who's bad, is perfect. And I think that's what makes this entire story from start to finish so digestible because of the characters that have been written to follow. Had this been a straight-laced good brother, bad brother from the beginning, this could have quite easily fallen into that.
Well, stupidly, it wasn't meant to be Michael B. Jordan who played both roles originally. Originally, this was going to be Jonathan Majors and Michael B. Jordan. Jonathan Majors was the guy who played.
Oh, so they were
Kang.
supposed to be cousins, which makes that joke earlier on even funnier.
No. They were going to be brothers, but he was cast as someone else. But then Jonathan Majors got in loads of trouble with sexual assault allegations. Yeah, basically, and that was him done. But yeah, Michael B. Jordan as 2 characters, distinctly different. Brilliant.
Yeah, I agree. And I think, again, that's down to the writing. But even had John Majors been cast in this role, I still would have found it very difficult to distinguish which one of the 2 that I should have been following throughout. I think he's just done a fantastic job with the script from start to finish. I really, really love the music and the sound and the score that goes with this film. I think that is one of the most amplifying elements of the entire tone of the film. Is how grounded it is in its musical roots. The twists that come along around it with the KKK, I know you fell into it pretty easily. Thankfully enough, I didn't find myself succumbed by this movie in terms of trailers and scoops and news articles when it came out. It was just one of them. I'll see it when I'll see it. So I managed to keep myself well away from it all. And when I did eventually get around to watching it for the show, I went in blind in almost all aspects, barring the fact that I knew one of the brothers turned. but I think that was pretty much a given anyway.
Yeah.
So for me, those twist elements were fantastic, and the fact that even though we got to the end of the movie, it would have been very easy just to cut it off there. We still got more storyline that followed through, which isolated the vampire story itself as being the main focus, and just a subplot in what is genuinely a fantastic fucking movie. I said this already on the show. I don't throw around the word masterpiece very often, but I think Ryan Coogler's Sinners is a flat-out masterpiece of modern-day horror movie making, and for me, it gets nothing less than a 5 out of 5. This film is flawless.
Yeah. Yeah, how do I follow that? This is film of the year. Like, it's not even a question for me. Performances across the board, especially Haley Steinfeld, Michael B. Jordan, and Cook, the vampire Remick, fucking incredible. I love the way that they, like the way they shoot this. Like, it's very bright and vibrant all the way through, and then when they get into the juke joint, they kind of turn it almost to this like orangey light. And it's very authentic to the lighting that would be there, but it just looks brilliant. And like a vampire fight under orange light with blood splattering, it just looks brilliant. Like, directed amazing. Like the shots where the brothers are fighting and it flicks between the two brothers while flicking between what's going outside. Those transitions are so quick and so seamless that it all feels like one scene. It's brilliant. I also, one thing I really like is I love stories from the 1930s. Like, I love stuff that's set in this Prohibition, KKK style world, because it's a harsh world. It's a harsh time in our history. And I really like stories that are set in that. And I love stories that are set in that have depth. And this movie had depth that I didn't expect it to have. The depth, not just of your main two characters, but there's a depth to your villains. There's a depth to your sub-characters. There's a depth to the old guy who plays in the Duke joint. Like, he has a story that I fully understand by the time he gets there, even to the point where he's like, yeah, I don't want to play at your club. Like, I've got this gig that I play at this club for the last 10 years. I'm going to play there for the next 10 years. Like, fuck you. And they're like, but we have Irish beer. And he's like, oh, okay then. And like, I know his motivations, and like that level of storytelling in a vampire movie is fucking rare. It's so rare. Like, soundtrack wise, fucking yeah. Like, if this doesn't get an Oscar nod for soundtrack,
it definitely won't.
But it should.
It should, definitely, yeah. But it won't. It'll get snubbed.
This is a faultless movie. I couldn't pick a hole in it. Like, I could nitpick it if I really wanted to, but I fucking loved it. I'm the same as Mark. This is a 5 out of 5, our second movie of the year with perfect scores. It's awesome. Simple as that. Like, if you haven't, episode 200, Return of the Living Dead.
Yeah. Okay. Understandable.
Yeah. So this sits on the top with those, and yeah, if you haven't seen it, find a way to go see it. Like, if you can't go see it at the cinema, it's streaming, or it's going to be streaming very shortly. Like, watch it on streaming. By the time
this episode comes out, it's streaming.
Yeah, definitely. And that's about it. That's it for another week. Next week we're going to be back with Jim and Jay for Poltergeist.
The last episode of the Euro podcast.
Well,
doesn't that make you gay?
Until then, have a wonderful
I might not
week.
drink next week. I might actually not have drink next week because I just don't know if I can trust myself to behave.
Can I let you into a secret? There is something called editing, where if you say anything that's too bad, we can remove it.
Unless you're a member of the Patreon and you get everything. You get everything.
It depends on what you say. Fuck, I might cut it from Patreon as well. Until next time, have a wonderful week. Remember, vampires love music too, and we love you. See you later.
See you next week, guys.
You want to die tonight?
word lost in the screen. Your passion for fear is contagious enough. You make me believe in Mark's overblown roundups. You run podcasts or a movie review, unveiling facts and playing games too. Your words paint pictures of darkness and dread, leaving me grinning long after I fled. You run podcasts, horror movie review, unveiling facts and playing games too. Your words paint pictures of darkness and dread, leaving me grinning long after I fled. Thank you for taking us on this chilling ride, when nightmares roll free and comedy collide. With your podcast we laugh and cringe, but your content is so good we can't help but binge. You run podcasts. You run podcasts.
Hey, where are the white women at?